I thought a lot about that question, and after over half a century at it, it's really hard to segregate and winnow and stretch down. I remember having sort of moments, you know, of oh, that's what happened. That's how that worked, and or didn't work. And moments like that are many. In Korea, the problem was there was virtually no media. The newspapers had been Japanese. The Koreans didn't want to read Japanese anymore. They wanted to speak Korean. So there was a nascent situation and not a lot in the way of newspapers. There was no TV. Radios were not all that plentiful. And the question was how to reach and persuade, i.e. do PR with, the Korean population. We studied, and I studied the Korean people a while, and I had learned the language at the time I was there before, right after World War II, 45, 46, which was Japanese, but they didn't want to speak Japanese anymore. They wanted to speak Korean. That's a tough language. Easy to write, hard to deal with. But the easy to write part meant something written in Hangul, in that language, will work. But the structure, the social structure of the Koreans in the villages was there was a chap called the Yangban, and he was the elder of the village. And he was given respect, and was due respect. And he was not elected, he was just sort of, everybody knew who it was going to be. And the Japanese had done a few things very well in Korea, one of which is to set up a mail system, a postage system. And so I went to my boss in Seoul and said, why don't we mail a newspaper to the Yangban in every village? Every Yangban can read and write. They're very literate people. He would have the obligation then to read that to the villagers. Who better to carry your message? And so we created a newspaper, got the pointy heads out of the way and made it simple, and mailed it to Korean villages. The post office was glad to have the business. The mailmen were glad to deliver it. The Yangban was glad to receive it because that made him important. These people were dirt poor at that time. And the villagers were glad to have a source of news. That was a great learning experience for me. The learning experience was, don't be seduced into thinking there's only one way, based on your experience at home, to reach people. There are a lot of different ways. And find the way that gets your message delivered properly. I've thought about that a lot.